Welcome to A Magical Life, Health, Wealth and Weight Loss. I'm your host, Magic Barclay, lead practitioner at Holistic Natural Health Australia and #1 best-selling author. In this podcast, I aim to give you practical tips on how to accelerate and sustain your health, increase your financial, spiritual and emotional wealth, and to look at something that haunts many of us needlessly, weight loss. Now, sit back and enjoy, because it is time for you to create and truly discover a magical life. Welcome back to A Magical Life. I'm your host, Magic Barclay, and today I want to talk about sensation and perception. They're completely different, and they both can have dramatic effects on your health. Before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, review and share this episode. You can join our conversation. Just visit us on all major podcast platforms. Now let's get into it. What is sensation? Well, sensation is a physical feeling. It is a perception, but it results from stimulation of senses such as touch, sight, hearing, and nerves, because we get nervous system signals called pain or burning or itching. And so we can really link up symptomology from our body with sensation. Now, sensation can be acute, it can be instant, or it can be a chronic sensation. And we see this with people that maybe have had an amputation and they still have the sensation of the amputated limb being there. They still have the sensation of pain because your body actually has a memory. And so this plays a really big part in our health. But let's look at acute or instant sensation for today's discussion. Sensation can feel like a lot of different things. And so we need to be able to comprehend that sensation and symptoms are very closely linked. And you've all heard me talk before about we don't treat symptoms only. We use them as indicators for the root cause. Let's look at perception, because perception is completely different. Perception is a belief or opinion held by you, held by others, and perception can be coloured by our previous experience. Now, I'm going to give you a little example. It's not a health example, but it'll kind of describe how perception can taint us moving forward. Then we'll link back to your health. So recently I bought an item from eBay. Now, I've had experience with eBay before where they've taken my money, the seller has taken my money, said something shipped, it's never been shipped, sent me some bogus tracking, and, I've lost my money and then I have to complain to eBay and chase it up, which is a whole big ordeal. And if you're a really busy person like me, it's something you really don't want to have to be doing. You also don't want to have to leave bad reviews for people, because do you know what? You do that, even though they may have deserved it, someone may do it to you, you may not deserve it. It kind of just keeps going on, and you're putting negative out there, and negative attracts negative. So back to perception, back to my item. I bought my item and there was probably I want to say a couple of days, maybe up to a week, where there was no communication. Now, I don't know what the seller's going through, right? I only know through my perception, my previous eBay experience. So time comes, item should have been delivered, no item. I completely lose it because I'm like, my perception tells me this is another eBay drama like before, and here we go. So I put a complaint in. Now, I didn't know what the seller was going through, right? Turns out the seller had been away doing something very important in their lives and had only just shipped the item. Of course, my perception has jaded me and I'm believing that I've been ripped off. Now, long story short, the item came. It was perfect. It's in use. It was very much needed. We were actually really, really waiting for this item. And, I had to fall on my sword and do the right thing and apologize to the seller for my complaint and let eBay know that everything was fine. And then I left a really nice review for the seller because he hadn't done anything wrong, right? He'd had stuff going on in his life that I didn't know about, but he hadn't done anything wrong. He delivered the item. The item was perfect. The item is still in use now. And it was my perception of what had happened to my previous eBay experience that jaded this transaction. Now, the same thing can happen with our health, right? We can make a perception based on our belief of our body, our belief of our ability to heal, our belief of all the myths that we've been told about our health, like butter is bad for you, salt is bad for you, eggs are bad for you. You've heard all of those over the past, 5 or 6 decades, right? So that all helps create our perception. And so that can affect our health as well. Very different to sensation, which is a perception, but it's more a physical feeling. Perception is a belief or an opinion. So, how do these both dramatically affect our health? Well, they both can have acute or instant, effect. They can wreak havoc. They can change how we feel about what's actually happening based on our beliefs or opinions or based on our feelings, our physical feelings. And then if that's not addressed and addressed in a healthy and proper way, that leads to chronic issues. So you can have chronic sensation, the tingling that doesn't go away, the pain that doesn't go away, the symptomology that doesn't go away. And we can have chronic perception of our health. How many times have we said it or heard someone else say it? And universe, I'm just using this as an example. Please don't do this to me. But how many times do you say, I don't heal properly? If I cut myself, I'm going to bleed for ages. Well, that may have been the case once. It's not necessarily going to be the case once you start working on your health. How many times do you say, I've got a crappy immune system, and yet you don't know which immune type you're in at the time, why you're in it, and maybe you might be stuck there, but you don't know why you're stuck there. So the sensation would be illness, whatever it is, and the perception would be that you're never getting out of it. We've talked about autoimmune before. In fact, we've talked about autoimmune so many times. Perception and sensation really come in. More perception here because you believe that you can't get well. You believe that because you have a label or a diagnosis that this is your lot in life. And so it's really important that we see how both sensation and perception can dramatically affect our health. Now, I've kind of drawn distinction between the two. But is there that much distinction? That's the next question. And the answer is no, but the answer is also yes. And why? Why is this so? If we look at sensation, as I said, physical feelings, it's more symptoms. Okay, if we're looking in the case of limbic involvement, so our emotional brain, which is very closely linked to trauma. It doesn't need to be trauma as in a crappy family. It can be trauma as in autoimmune. It can be trauma as in past physical reactions to things. So if we look at the limbic brain and we look at mold very closely attached to our limbic response to things as well, sensation creates perception and perception creates sensation. So this is why it's that yes and no answer, because your limbic brain takes the initial sensation, so the acute sensation, it creates a perception, and that perception can become so toxic to you that it becomes a sensation. So now that I've completely confused you, let's have a look at how we can deal with this. Now, you've heard me talk before about how to believe in yourself, how to, not just how to believe in yourself, but how to reframe beliefs about yourself. We've talked about this before. And what you put out there, you will get back. And we know this, right? We know this to be true. How does this work with perception? Well, if we perceive a situation such as an illness to be true, it means we believe that to be true. If we believe that we have lost ourselves to this illness, that then means that that is true. Now, if we believe that we've lost ourselves to the illness, that means we believe that we are less than, that we are, some say, deserving of it. Some may say destined to be of it. And when we're looking at illness, that means we are so emotionally attached to the diagnosis. So what does that mean for sensation? We're so emotionally attached to the diagnosis that that now becomes our physical feeling. That pain from fibromyalgia, for example, is never going to go away, and your perception feeds or fuels the sensation. And so the more you believe it to be true, the more it's going to happen. The more you perceive this to be your lot in life, the more it's going to happen. And so this is why I talk to you so much about what you think and feel are so closely linked that they can become the creator of more chronic illness. They can become the impetus to more chronic illness. They can become the fuel to more chronic illness. So, how do we go about our lives without sensation and perception fueling illness? Well, we've spoken about this in previous episodes. When the sensation occurs, acknowledge it. My knee is sore, but it will get better. It's not my knee is sore, full stop. End of discussion. It's my knee is sore, it will get better. Acknowledge that it's happening. But don't dwell in it. Don't live in it. Don't make it your new place to be. Otherwise, your knee will be sore forever and it will get worse. And then you will create a perception about that. Now, I've used this as an example because I hurt my knee several weeks ago and it has been sore on and off. I joked to someone the other day, oh, well, I guess, this is the way it is. I'll be hop along for a little while. And they looked at me and they said, we've heard your podcast. Why did you say that? I said, it was a joke. And they said, not funny. And they were correct. They pulled me up using my own discussion with you guys. They were 100% correct. So I quickly reframed it. And I said, yeah, my knee is sore at the moment. It's not something I want to live in forever. It's not somewhere I want to be. I'm doing all the exercises I can to fix it, and it'll be fine. Did I have a perception that that's where I was going to be all the time? No. I was using a joke, a self-deprecating joke, which, if this person hadn't heard the podcast and pulled me up on it, I probably would have stuffed it up and let my knee know that it could keep being sore. And, so everyone does this. We just do it. We don't even realize we're doing it. So our self-talk here really has to come in when a sensation occurs so that we don't create the perception our body wants to live in. This has been a completely confusing episode, and I do apologize for that, but it's something I felt I needed to say. And as we're recording this, we're going towards Christmas. It's the end of the year. And, I think it's a time of reflection. And we need to reflect on how our sensations create our perceptions and how that affects our lives moving forward, going into a new year. Is that perception true and correct? Or is it something you can get rid of? Is it something that you can change? Is it something you can work on? Because guess what? You've got another brand new, fresh year coming ahead. And that year is not full of perceptions that you've created from time gone by. It's time that hasn't happened yet. It's life that hasn't happened yet. It's health that needs boosting now before you go into the new year. And the sensations need to be addressed now. We always talk about we're not symptom chasing, we're not treating symptoms, but address the sensation now. Book your root cause analysis call. We're working right through the holidays. Apart from Christmas Day and New Year's Day, we are working right through the holidays. Book your root cause analysis call now. It's free anywhere in the world. May take a little bit of time because we're on a skeleton crew to actually get your findings to you. When I say that, maybe a couple of days. But really address what the sensation is in your body now so that the perception is healthier and so that we can stop that symptomology from reoccurring, from re-insulting your body, from re-havocing in your health. There you go, I just made a new word up. That's interesting. Anyway, let's go into the new year armed with positivity and with answers and with action steps to take. I know, for my own family, I always make the end of December, this last week, I always make it a really poignant time for us to all address things that maybe we don't want to take into the next year. You've heard about, my son's dental surgery. He had it last week. He's still a little bit sore, and that's okay. But I've told him that doesn't come into the new year with you. Now you look at what you had done and look at how that's changing your future. Something else to take into the new year is I used to, and I actually still do this with my kids. They're in their 20s and I still do it. But I used to make them always clean out their toys and their books and donate things that they didn't want to use anymore, making sure that they weren't broken or torn or, drawn on or whatever. We only donate good things. But donate something now. Do a big cleanup if you want to get new stuff. Help someone less fortunate before you help yourself. And I talk to them about this every year. Now that they're older, we also talk about beliefs or perceptions doing this every single year. And so I've spoken to them and said, throw out what doesn't serve you. What perceptions or beliefs don't serve you. Make room for new, good stuff in the new year. And so I urge you all to do this as well, is really address what is happening in your body now and really address what you don't need moving forward and make way for the good stuff. Make way for the next year to be great with your health. Make way for the next year to be great with how you feel about yourself and how you feel about other people around you. Make way for the next year to be the year that your sensation may be instant or acute, but your perception is positive and long-lasting and rebuilding and supporting, not dragging you down, not sticking you in a place where you don't want to be, not creating and forever replicating pain and misery. Make sure that you are supporting you. Do a big clean out. Do the toy clean out, but do it with your life. Have a look at the people around you. Have a look at the things around you. Have a look at what's happening with your health and support you going into the new year. Slight tangent there, but needed to be said. Now, we've discussed sensation and perception and how they're different, but how they're not that different because they can affect each other, right? They both have dramatic effects on your health. It's time to address both of these. Now, if you need help with anything, of course, visit us at our website, holisticnaturalhealth.com.au. We can help you with holistic counselling. We can help you with our root cause analysis call. We can help you with our products. And moving forward, make sure that you're the one in charge of your perception, that it doesn't just roll down the hill like a snowball gaining momentum, becoming an avalanche, right? And gain control of your sensation and make sure that it is only acute or instant and that it doesn't become chronic. For now, thank you for listening to us this year. Moving into the new year, we wish you all so much health and abundance and prosperity. And please do like, subscribe, review, share, join our conversation. We look forward to answering all of your fabulous questions next year. And for now, go forth and create your magical life. Thanks for listening today. Please subscribe to hear future episodes, leave a review, and share this podcast. Drop us a line at A Magical Life Podcast on Facebook and let me know what you would like to know more about. You can find us on Instagram at Holistic Natural Health, that's holistic with a W, or at www.holisticnaturalhealth.com.au. That's where you'll access all sorts of articles, freebies, and more.